guys, what's up? It's Ella. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know before you go to Six Flags Great America. Six Flags Great America is my home park, and I've been going here for years, so I think I'm a bit of a veteran when it comes to this park, so I'll make sure to cover some things that you might not hear directly from the park's website. If you like this video, make sure to check out my other videos in this series and subscribe for more content like this. Without further ado, let's get into it. Six Flags Great America is located in Gurnee, Illinois, which is between Chicago and Milwaukee. If you're hoping to make this part of a larger theme park trip, the next closest parks are Mount Olympus, which is about 2.5 hours away by car, and Indiana Beach, which is about 2 hours and 45 minutes away by car. If you're coming to Six Flags Great America in a car, it's located right off of Interstate 94. It's about 30 minutes from Chicago's O'Hare Airport, 57 minutes from Chicago's Midway Airport, and 41 minutes from Milwaukee's airport. If you're relying on public transit to get to the park, it can be done, but it'll take about 2 hours to get there from an airport through public transportation to the park. To get there by public transit, you can take either the CTA Blue Line to the Clinton Station if you're coming in from O'Hare, or the CTA Orange Line to Washington and Wells Station if you're arriving from Midway. From there, it's a short walk to the Ogilvie Transportation Center, where you can take the Union Pacific North train to the Waukegan Station. From there, you can take the 565 bus line to Six Flags Parkway. If you can't tell by now, public transportation in America is, well, not very good, so it's probably easier just to get an Uber or a Lyft than go through all that work and coordination, but taking public transit is an option if absolutely necessary. The lodging situation is a lot less complicated than the public transportation situation. Six Flags Great America doesn't have an official resort or attached hotel, but there's several options in Gurnee in very close proximity to the park. Some of these options include the Country Inn and Suites, Baymont, La Quinta, Holiday Inn, Hampton Inn, Extended Stay, among others. There's also a Great Wolf Lodge with an indoor water park very nearby, but it is a bit more expensive than some of the other nearby hotels. Also, if you stay a little further out of Gurnee, the prices might be a little cheaper for hotels than if you stay right in town next to the park. The nearest campground, I believe, is the Illinois Beach State Park Campground, which is about 12 miles away from Six Flags Great America, so it is possible to camp as well if you prefer camping over hotels. Six Flags Great America gets extremely busy, so it's really important to know the best times to go to this park if you want to avoid the crowds. The best time to go is going to be in the early part of the season in either May or June, preferably on a weekday if possible. Mother's Day and Father's Day are also great days to go when it comes to avoiding crowds. The worst times to go are going to be any Saturday in the summer and any time during Fright Fest, which is the park's Halloween event, and that's held from the end of September to the weekend closest to Halloween. Avoid Saturdays and Fright Fest like the plague unless you're planning on getting a Flash Pass, which is the park's skip-the-line pass system that you can access for an additional fee. Saturdays and during Fright Fest are always going to be the most crowded, so if you're planning on going to Six Flags Great America for the first time and you're trying to ride everything, definitely try not to go during one of those times. Like all Six Flags parks, there's a few different options you have when it comes to admission. I won't go into too much detail here since all this information can be found on the park's website, which I will link below. A single-day ticket costs about $40 in 2021. Another option is their season pass, which will grant you unlimited visits to Six Flags Great America and all parks in the Six Flags chain, and that runs for about $60 in 2021. Now, I do want to note that these prices that are listed are somewhat lower than usual because of the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of parks have been lowering their ticket prices to get more people visiting the park. You can also get a membership, which has all the benefits of a season pass and several additional benefits such as preferred parking and discounts on in-park purchases. Memberships are paid monthly and come in 4 different tiers which have varying levels depending on how much money you're paying. You can also add on additional passes such as the dining pass or a flash pass to a single-day ticket, season pass, or membership. I would recommend buying all tickets in advance online so you don't have to wait to buy them when you're entering the park. Also, if you're planning on going to Hurricane Harbor, the park's water park, keep in mind that it is a separate entrance fee if you're not a season pass holder or member. This is a new change for 2021, so do keep that in mind if the water park is in your plans. Again, more information on tickets and pricing can be found on the park's website linked below. The parking fee here runs at about $25, but parking is included in some of the ticket options. When you enter the park, you'll go through the metal detectors, get your bag checked if you have one, get your ticket scanned, and then you're in. If you're going during COVID times, you'll also get your temperature checked, and you do have to wear a mask at all times in the park if you're not eating or drinking, at least at the time that this video is being recorded. Some Six Flags parks have rolled back on their mask mandates, but I do believe Great America's is still in place as of now. If you're also going during COVID, reservations are required prior to your visit to the park. Reservations have been running out pretty quickly in these past few weeks, so as soon as you know what day you're in the park, make sure that you make that reservation as soon as possible. Note that Six Flags does not allow any outside food or drink into the park, with the exception of an empty, refillable water bottle or an unopened, pre-sealed water bottle. I do believe that they make exceptions for medical conditions when it comes to food. Selfie sticks are also banned from Six Flags parks. I don't really know if anyone uses these anymore, but just know that if you're planning on bringing one, you can't. Other parks in the Six Flags chain have also been cracking down on cameras with removable lenses. I don't know if this has been enforced at Great America specifically, but in general, I would just recommend bringing as little as possible into the park. Six Flags Great America isn't really known for their food. If you've been to any other park in the Six Flags chain, you kind of know what to expect when it comes to food. It's pretty similar to the other Six Flags parks. There's plenty of your typical carnival food, like pizza and burgers and that type of thing. One thing that's a little unique here are their two Italian venues, those being Capone's Kitchen and Big Lou's, where you can get spaghetti and Italian beef sandwiches respectively, and that's something you might not see at other Six Flags parks or even other parks in other chains. If you're looking for healthy options, the Go Fresh Cafe is Six Flags' version of a healthy restaurant where you can find things like veggie burgers and salads and stuff like that. There's a massive food court in the county fair area across from X-Flight, which has a ton of seating, but it is all outside. The indoor food venues are a bit more scattered throughout the park. These standalone buildings are also the place where you can find most of the alcoholic beverages in the park. The food court does have a separate tap house, but to my knowledge, I don't think any of the restaurants in the food courts sell both food and alcohol, so you might have to make two separate visits if you're planning on eating at the food court. Next, we're going to talk about merchandise. Most of the gift stores at Six Flags Great America can be pretty hit or miss in my experience, depending on what type of merchandise you're looking for. The gift shop right at the front of the park is called Flags, and they have a lot of t-shirts that says Six Flags on it, and other logo merch and stuff like that. If you're looking for roller coaster specific merch, in my experience, the best stores for this are Victory Lane, which Max Force exits into, and Thrill Seekers, which is the gift shop that Goliath exits into. I've also heard that the Emporium in Orleans Place has some good coaster merch as well. I wouldn't say there's a ton of merchandise that stands out to me as being really unique here. They do have the superhero capes for the DC Comics characters, like they have at, most Six Flags parks, and they do have nano coasters here as well for Raging Bull, Max Force, X-Flight, and Goliath. There's also an online shop where you can purchase some of these items as well. Now for the best part, the rides. Six Flags Great America has 15 roller coasters, 4 water rides, 3 kids areas, and a ton of flat rides mixed in. A lot of the flat rides are pretty standard, but a few unique ones that I would recommend checking out include the Columbia Carousel, which is a double-decker carousel right at the front of the park, Condor, which is a Husk Condor, and this model is starting to get pretty rare, so give it a ride while you still can. Fiddler's Fling has always been one of my favorite flat rides here, and it's right across from Goliath. It's nothing too special, just a spinning flat, but I've always had a lot of fun on it. There's also Giant Drop, an Intamin Drop Tower, and Skytrek Tower, which is an observation tower that's been at the park since Great America's opening. There's also a Justice League Dark Ride, which, is at a lot of other Six Flags parks, but it's still pretty cool. Oh, and they have the world's largest Larson Loop. So, if that's something you're interested in, it is there. The 4 water rides at Six Flags Great America are Roaring Rapids, Loggers Run, Yankee Clipper, and Buccaneer Battle. Roaring Rapids is a river raft ride which is getting refurbished for the 2021 season, so it won't be open the year that this video is being uploaded. Loggers Run and Yankee Clipper are 2 old aero flume rides and also original to the park. They pretty much mirror each other's layout, except Loggers Run has a double down, where Yankee Clipper has a straight drop. Loggers Run usually opens earlier in the year than Yankee Clipper, and if one of them is going to close, it's going to be Yankee Clipper, so make sure that if you see it open, you give it a ride. Buccaneer Battle is the final water ride I'll be discussing, which is one of those rides where you can squirt other people on the ride. However, I find that this one doesn't really get you that wet, so if you're really looking to cool off, maybe try one of the other ones. The 3 kids areas are Kidsopolis, Camp Cartoon, and Hometown Park, with the latter of the 3 being the newest as well. Hometown Park is pretty small and ideal for the really young kids, where the other 2 areas are a little better for the older kids and have a bit more of a variety of rides. Camp Cartoon is due for an upgrade in my opinion, as they removed their little kiddie Ferris wheel in the back, which now is just kind of left an empty plot. And I think that space can use a little bit of an upgrade, but 3 kids areas is pretty good if you're coming with the little ones. For everyone's favorite, what about the roller coasters? There's 2 kiddie coasters here, Sprocket Rocket and Little Dipper, and enthusiasts can get both of these credits. You don't need a kid to ride with you, so if you want to ride by yourself, totally doable. There's 2 family coasters here. They're rides I would classify as family coasters, which are Dark Knight, their Indoor Wild Mouse, and Whizzer, which is a Schwarzkopf speed racer. And it's only one of 2 of these models left in the world, so a bit of a rare credit there. These 2 can get really long lines, especially during the day, so I would recommend waiting until the evening to ride these 2 family coasters when some of the kids and families might have left. There's 3 wooden coasters here, or well, 4 technically if you count both sides of American Eagle. American Eagle is the park's racing coaster, and that's all the way at the back of the park, and rumor has it that it might be on borrowed time, so I would recommend riding it sooner than later. It can be rough, especially on that big helix, but I don't think it's completely unbearable just yet. Viper is another one of their wooden coasters here. This is a Twister model, and it's extremely underrated in my opinion, so definitely make sure you don't miss out on Viper. Similar to American Eagle, Viper also has a really long exit queue for whatever reason, so just be prepared to do some walking when you're coming off these rides. The final wooden coaster here is Goliath, which does have the tallest drop on a wooden coaster, and is also the fastest wooden coaster in the world, now that Lightning Rod at Dollywood is no longer considered a wooden coaster after its iBox track reconfiguration. Goliath is honestly just pure awesome, and it's great in every single seat, and you really can't go wrong with a ride on Goliath. It does have one of the longer lines in the park, so be prepared to wait a bit for this one. It has 2 launch coasters, one being Vertical Velocity, also known as V2, and Max Force. V2 can only run 1 train, so sometimes the line can get kind of long for this, but that vertical spike over the water is pretty cool to experience. Max Force can also get a really long line, and it's notoriously unreliable, so honestly, don't expect Max Force to be open when you're going to the park. If you see Max Force open at all, get in line as soon as you can because you never know when it'll be open. The steel looping coasters at Six Flags Great America are the Flying Coaster Superman Ultimate Flight, the original inverted coaster Batman the Ride, the Wing Coaster X-Flight, and the 4D coaster Joker, as well as the classic Aero Looper Demon. The final coaster I haven't mentioned yet is Raging Bull, which is the park's hypercoaster. For Raging Bull, I recommend sitting in the very back row for maximum airtime. All of the looping coasters are great. Demon can be prone to a little head banging, especially on the corkscrews, so I would recommend sticking your head forward a bit to protect your ears from getting that head banging. Demon also has a lower height limit than a lot of the other coasters at Great America, so it can be pretty popular with families, and sometimes it can get a bit of a longer line, but other times it can be totally dead, so it really just depends when you go. Six Flags Great America actually has one of the best loose article policies I've seen. Pretty much all of the major rides have bins on the platforms where you can leave loose articles, and there's plenty of lockers that you can pay for that are spread around the park if you don't feel comfortable leaving your items on the platform if you're having concerns about things being stolen or whatnot. Waist packs are allowed on most rides, with the Joker and sometimes Goliath being the exceptions. I really don't know about Goliath. Sometimes they let me wear a fanny pack, and sometimes they don't. They've been inconsistent during my visits, so I'm not really sure, so keep that in mind if you are wearing a fanny pack. There's no metal detectors in queue lines or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about not being able to take your stuff with you. Six Flags does not allow photography or cell phone use on rides, so make sure your phone is secured before riding anything. Currently in 2021, rides are being sanitized about once an hour for COVID safety, which can slow down operations. Operations here are pretty decent. I will say though, Superman Ultimate Flight and V2 have some of the slower loading processes, just because you know the nature of those rides, so those lines do seem to move a little slower than some of the other ones. Most rides here do run 2 trains pretty regularly, even on the slower days. Sometimes Raging Bull and Batman do run 3, but so far in 2021 they've only been running 2 trains. So that is going to conclude it for this video here on Six Flags Great America. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this video. If there's anything I didn't mention or things I didn't answer and you have a question on, leave a comment and I'll try to get back to as many comments as I can. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video, and I hope to see you next time.